There was another question in the back. Yeah.
This question is for Bree. I was interested, hopefully, in physical therapy, so I was just wondering, like, what are the kinds of things that you do, especially at your internship?
So for the major, exercise science specifically, you're required to have an internship as part of the major. You can do a 3-credit one or 6-credit one. The 3-credit one is 126 hours in an office observing, and the 6-credit one is 252 hours. So I think it's really great that the department does that because it kind of, forces you to go out there and get an internship and get all those observation hours, because for grad school, you need that. It's a requirement for most grad schools to have usually 50 to 80 to 100 plus hours, and in different settings too. So that's also goes back to the other question, when should you get an internship? Try as early as possible and in different settings as possible. So like an outpatient, cardiac rehab, spinal cord injuries, because the more variety you have, the better that looks when you're applying. But as far as my internship goes, since I'm not a licensed physical therapist, I can't really do much. Sometimes I act as an aide, which, I'll get the hot packs for the patients, the ice packs, I'll get the e-stim pads. I'll walk them through their exercise programs, I'll help them on the equipment. A lot of times, I work at, or intern at St. Peter's, and they're really good there. They have a lot of Rutgers students who intern, and they're really good at teaching and asking questions. When they're performing a certain type of treatment, they're like, okay, so, what muscle, is this working? So I try and be as proactive in that way as I can, because I can't physically, treat the patients. And also, coming up with different exercises for the patients. That's something that they let me do. So it's fun. I like it, and I learn a lot. So.
What tips can you give regarding interacting and building relationships with faculty?
Want to take this? I would just say I would say it starts definitely with being vocal during class, and of course that's the degree to which that is appropriate is going to vary based on the class. Like, don't yell out answers in general bio where there's 300 students or whatever in a lecture, but definitely, and I'm sure you guys have heard this more than once, go to office hours, right? Go to office hours. I think that you'll find that a lot of professors, they're a lot less scary when they're not on the stage, and they're human beings. They're just like you and me, so they tend to be, I think, extra sympathetic towards, maybe that's not a very good word, but towards students who they remember seeing pretty frequently in office hours. And you never know, the professors that you're taking right now teach upper level electives, so let's just use the bio major as an example. Dr. D'Arville is a lecturer with whom I'm sure a lot of you are familiar, and she teaches Intro to Cancer and other classes like that, so you'll probably see them again. Make sure they get to know you, because they have better memory. They're science professors. They have pretty good memories, and they'll remember who you are if you make the effort to know who they are.
I found that professors like talking about their research a lot. So what if I find a professor that I have that I'm interested in what they do, whether I actually want to work with them or not, maybe it's just a question in general. I'll try to read a paper of theirs, probably not understand most of it, but then email them, try to meet them in office just to kind of hear what they do and see more sides of what they do and what the field is like. And so that's a nice low intensity way of meeting someone.
Yeah, and they might even be interested in having you on their research team or whatever, once they know that you're interested.
Pisano?
Yeah.
We have 5 minutes left.
Okay. You are on it.
This question isn't directed at for anyone, but when did you decide your major?
Well, I decided mine as a freshman, so I just knew that I was going to be computer science. I guess yeah. That's what I mean, I'm not certain what type of response you're looking for, really.
I'm just worried about filling the requirements.
Well, as long as you have a general idea of what you want to do, if you know that you want to do something in the sciences, whether it's physics, biology, whatever it is, then it's okay then, just because a lot of classes overlap with different majors. So as long as you have like a very broad idea of what you want to do, then you're fine. So as long as you don't switch from like science to like music, then you'll probably be okay.
I found if you email like the undergraduate head of the department and let them know that maybe you're interested in a major in their department, a lot of them are like more than happy to talk to you about the major and like about the field and like the career paths that you can take like with that major. And I've had like 3 or 4 meetings with professors, like heads of departments, and they're always more than happy to meet with me. So.
And also, if you're concerned, you can always just get the SAS requirements out of the way or whatever,
Yeah.
and I've had like CS is a pretty credit intensive major, so I've actually had friends that transferred into Rutgers and they're able to complete the major within 2 years. So, I mean, well, it's kind of painful, I guess, but if you're not like really certain right now, it's not the end of the world. They kind of try to work with.
Just to go off what she said, I didn't know what I was going to do freshman year, so I didn't take any science courses until my sophomore year. So if that gives you hope. I hope it does. And I'm graduating on time. I took chemistry over the summer, 1 summer, just so I would have less of a course load. But yeah, it's totally doable if you guys aren't sure as freshmen. And like she said, I knocked out a majority of my SAS requirements, so it ended up working out anyway.
And I think that majority of students actually decide by the end of their sophomore year. So it's not the end of the world if you don't decide at the end of your freshman year. It's okay.
Get experience. Like go shadow if you find a specific profession to be of interest to you. I'm sure all of you have some sort of primary doctor, for example. Maybe fewer of you have seen more specialists in terms of physical therapists, occupational therapists, but if you have or if you know of one, maybe call around to some of the ones that are local to you. If you live near a hospital, for example, a lot of them have shadowing programs, and just see, because science, it's intense, and I think that the more you expose yourself to these types of careers, the more inspired you'll be to actually revise properly and perform when it comes to your coursework, because you'll have some sort of greater reason why you're doing it than just, I don't know, your parents told you or you don't know what else to do.
And take classes that interest you, because I knew coming in that I wanted to do CS, but I didn't know I wanted to do linguistics. I actually have an aunt and uncle that are linguists, and they're always complaining about their jobs. So I was like, I don't want to touch that. But I took a class freshman year and I loved it, and so I majored in it.
And I also think you should look at the Rutgers database for different volunteer programs. I remember our freshman year with our fixed course, our instructor took us to St. Peter's just to visit, and we wanted to volunteer at St. Peter's. I loved it. Just because of that, I started looking into public health, just because of that experience. So you should look for different volunteer opportunities. I know Rutgers has the WINGS program for science, engineers, and women in biological science, all those different fields. And St. Peter's, Robert Wood Johnson has different volunteer programs for students too at Rutgers. So take advantage of those programs.
There are no more questions? Okay, thank you. Please give our next one.
No, we
Yeah, we have to move.